The clock is ticking. Iran could strike Israel in the next 48 hours. Since last night, the threat level has gone up. Reports say Tehran has zeroed in on its targets. It is preparing for a direct attack on Israel. Iran's supreme leader has been presented with strike options. If he chooses to attack Israel directly, parts of North and South Israel could be potential targets. It's a small country as it is. Now, hectic diplomacy is underway to avoid what is increasingly becoming inevitable: a wider war in West Asia. America is trying to pull Iran back from the brink. The U.S. Secretary of State has been making calls, asking the likes of China, Turkey and Saudi Arabia to stop Iran. But will they be able to convince Tehran? And remember, this escalation started with Israel. They're the ones who carried out an airstrike in Syria. They bombed an Iranian consulate in Damascus. Top Iranian military officials died in that strike. Iran says Israel's strike was a direct attack on them. So now they want to pay back in kind. How would they do it? Most likely using medium-range missiles. That's one of the probable scenarios. They're already issuing threats online. Videos have appeared showing simulated attacks on Israel. They feature high-value targets like Israel's Haifa airport and a nuclear facility in Dimona. Israel is said to have a nuclear reactor there in Dimona. So the plans are very much in place. Iranian officials are now waiting for a go-ahead from Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader of the country. Reports say he wants to think this through, carefully consider all available options, the political risks of an attack and the potential backlash from Israel, about which Netanyahu is leaving no doubts. He says if Israel is attacked, he will respond.
We established a simple principle. Whoever hurts us, we hurt him. We are preparing to meet the security needs of the state of Israel, both in defense and in attack.
Yesterday, Israel conducted an operation in Lebanon. Israeli jets were dispatched. They struck at least 5 targets. Israel says they took out Hezbollah infrastructure. In fact, since the beginning of the Gaza war, Israel has been fighting the Hezbollah on its northern border. This is an Iranian proxy group. So far, this fighting has led to the deaths of over 300 people in Lebanon and 18 people in Israel. The security situation is rapidly deteriorating. America and its Western allies do not have much time. They have a narrow window to convince Iran and stop a major attack which could consume the entire region. But then again, America's options are also limited. It cannot communicate with Tehran directly. American law bans U.S. diplomats from engaging with Iran, so they have to go through intermediaries, like the Europeans. In this case, Germany has delivered messages to Tehran.
Nobody should add fuel to the fire now. No one can have any interest in a conflagration with completely unforeseeable consequences. All the players in the region are called upon to act responsibly and exercise restraint. With this in mind, I also spoke to my Iranian counterpart today.
West Asian powers are also calling Tehran. In the last 48 hours, Saudi Arabia, Iran, the UAE and Qatar have all dialed Tehran. They've spoken to Iran's foreign minister. It is not clear what they discussed or how effective these efforts have been. So far, there's been no change in Iran's posture. And the U.S. is preparing for the worst-case scenario, that is an Iranian strike. Washington has sent a message to all American officials in Israel and their families. They've been asked to stay in Tel Aviv, Greater Jerusalem or Beersheba areas. European countries have issued travel advisories for Iran. Yesterday, Lufthansa cancelled flights to Tehran and this ban has now been extended till tomorrow. The situation remains precarious. The region, anyway, was a powder keg and the Gaza war has lit the fuse. So tensions between regional rivals are exploding. 6 months ago, when Israeli troops launched their offensive, it put the entire region on the edge. A swift operation could have reduced tensions, but Israel has shown no willingness to end this war. There have been a series of diplomatic initiatives, but they've all failed to deliver a breakthrough. So even if Iran is persuaded to stand down this time, the risk of a wider war in West Asia still very much remains. And it will remain until the war in Gaza ends. Needless to say, an escalation would hurt the whole world. So cooler heads must prevail.